Thrall and the spawn of thralls. Yeah. I really couldn't let go of this one, could I? Who would have guessed? You might think about this. Who were they? Perhaps actually descendants from this to be Yugoslavia. And well, in that case you might perhaps see some traces of this. If let's pretend that this thrall blood hasn't really been mixed up, and I actually made this DNA test, and it actually did appear that I had some genes, not actually as that they would be traced back to any specific parts, but at least gene types associated with certain parts of the world, Great Britain and Balkan, something Slavish, and might actually be prisoners of war being brought back all the way to Sweden. Can you believe that? Sweden. And then what makes a good throne? You would expect certain qualities, and being raised in that kind of environment, living that kind of life, being fed leftovers or garbage, no belt, the only closest you would ever come to some actual proteins. Apart from that, starch and fibers, and then those surviving this treatment, they should be the most valuable, right? Because you will actually create some kind of new breed. The one being 7th generation thrall would be worth a lot more than a newbie 1st generation, and perhaps had this rather pleasant life somewhere in this to be Yugoslavia, and all this were taken from him, or he was taken out of it and carried all the way back to Sweden. Yeah, Sweden. But after seven generations, having survived that long, a family having survived that long, you might actually expect that they in some way were used to this. They had learned to accept their fate, and they couldn't really imagine anything else. This ancestor of theirs were likely lost in the midst of oblivion. And having survived, you might expect this troll to be not only strong as an ox, but actually tough as an ox and stubborn and the one who, that kind that you might load, no matter how much you load upon his or her shoulders, no matter if they bend over all the way to the ground, and you can always load some more. You can bend them all the way to hell and they will still not break. After 7 generations, you may perhaps count on that. And what kind of people would this be? First of all, you may expect that this would be quite a specific gene type, genetic type, and also becoming even more refined with generations. What kind of human will this be? A new breed, a breed of thralls, the silent and faceless proletarians. Because this old curse has kept its grip upon us in some way. My great-grandfather, he was the first one who actually got himself a place of his own. Worked hard, not only as a farm worker, but also as a railway worker, building this railroad lines that we still have in Sweden. Yeah, Sweden. He didn't waste any money. He saved it all. Became religious. And in 1926 he had saved 9,000 crowns, enough to buy this shack. And then he got himself some cancer in his asshole and died 1 year later. His wife stayed there, brave as she was, brave and religious. She wouldn't give up. And she stayed there until 1939 or 40 or something, when her youngest son moved, and she moved with him and lived her last 5 years at his place. None of these boys, 4 boys, was interested in inheriting this mighty place. They all got their own, or I don't know, that they might also have agreed upon selling it and sharing the money or whatever. My grandfather, he got himself his own place, quite a bit bigger, yet rather small, comparing with those molding units. And you never had any people employed. But you know, the curse has not lost its grip, because when looking at their children, especially my own grandfather's children, nothing really became out of them. They never were really appreciated or acknowledged for their life work. And I look at cousins and cousins' children, and it's like there is something, smell of poverty or the thrall gene, whatever this may be, and they die at an early age. They all, most of them at least, are heavy smokers, and this, my grandfather's generation, they were religious, and no coke, no heroin, no hash, no amphetamine, and they did not drink alcohol, which in turn their children would compensate for, not the least religious, I might add. And all the way to hell, all of them. And next generation repeating same mistakes. What the fuck is this?